So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to update that lease rate. So we're going to click on that lease rate. And if you remember when we entered this one in, it said that this lease is going to increase 2% annually. When we entered it in the first time, we entered it in as the whole entire lease rate. So from the start of the lease to the end of the lease. So we need to update that first and edit that. So now we're going to go into this custom date range. And so you can see the date range that it had picked. So we are going to change that to make this just for that first year, only that first year. So that first year is $6,000 monthly, which is correct. And then the late charges, the amount due, and the income item. If you need to add additional charges, such as parking fees, storage fees, anything like that, that are associated with this lease, but not something that has to be reconciled at the end of the year, it's not part of a CAM charge, then you can add those in here as well. And you can add a single line item or multiple line items if needed. We're going to save this to save that first lease rate to that correct amount and that correct date. So here you see January 1st to December 31st, 2025. And now when we click on add a new lease rate, it automatically goes from the last day we entered, which was December 31st, 25. It'll start on January 1st, 2026, and it goes for an entire year. So now we want to increase that rent. So we're going to increase it by 2%. We're also going to add in our original lease notes, so to match up with that. And then we also have the late charges come through from the last lease rate. So as long as you got the first one in correct, it'll transfer over. Same thing with the payment due and the income items. The last thing that you need to check on this page is right here, if the lease amount is confirmed, meaning is this a solid amount? Is this for sure how much it's going to be? Is there no question from the lease that this is how much it's going to be? So our lease stated that it's going to increase by 2% and said it's 6120, so therefore it is confirmed. If this lease said that it was going to increase by CPI or anything, or up to 3%, or anything that may need to be verified or checked, then this checkbox would be unchecked and you would get a lease notification 30 days beforehand for an unconfirmed lease rate. If this is checked, you get an email 30 days prior to this escalation date, so December 1st, pardon me, and it'll say that you have an escalation, a confirmed escalation. So I can press save right now, and that just saves the rate into next year, or saves it, and then I can do something else, or I'm going to say add another lease rate after saving, and that is going to add me a whole another lease rate, again, from year to year, from right where we left off. And so the new rate is 6242.40, and it is confirmed because it was in the lease. And we're going to put that same note in here as well. The original lease is where we found that. That was the document, and it was a 2% increase annually. So I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to press save because that was the end of my lease rates. Give it a minute to repopulate. And so now you have all three lease rates and the increase per square foot, as well as the monthly amount. Scrolling over here, you can see all of that same information as well. It's due on the 1st and those lease amounts are confirmed. If I press add a lease rate now, it will go back to the beginning because I'm already at the end of the lease for the lease term. So this lease term ended on December 31st, 2027, and that's the end of my lease rate. So I can't enter in a lease rate past the lease terms.